Hello, everybody. I'm Stephen Babcock, and this is Luke Williamson.
How you doing?
I am in my office right now. This is not a high production quality event like some other videos you might have seen me in. We are here today to talk to you about hurricane claims. I've been involved in representing people in insurance disputes, both individuals and insurance companies, frankly, off and on for 21 years. And Luke, you've got a similar experience, don't you?
Yeah, I've been doing this for 25 years, and Stephen and I have worked together many times during that time.
So we have come together, basically joint efforts to represent people in hurricane claims and specifically Hurricane Ida claims. And our offices are being blown up with questions, and we decided to shoot this impromptu video. We're going to later make a PowerPoint overlay over the top of it to where you'll be able to see some of the things that we're talking about. But we're here to talk about damage to all of our properties as a result of Hurricane Ida.
Yeah, on August 29th, 2021, the anniversary of Hurricane Katrina, Hurricane Ida became one of the largest storms to ever hit the state of Louisiana, causing devastating damage across our entire coast and hurting the people that live in Louisiana. And so we want to try to provide you with information to guide you through this process so that you can understand how to deal with your insurance company and get as close to whole as possible. So the information that we're going to provide you over the course of the next 15, 20 minutes will hopefully give you some information on what you can do to protect your family and recover from this devastating loss.
So we're in Baton Rouge recording this right now. We have clients in Houma that still don't have electricity. We do have electricity here. I happen to own a camp in Cocodrie, which was affected. I have a home in Baton Rouge that had minimal damage. And so we know that there's a large dispersion of damage, and we understand that it is both great in some places and minimal in others. Hopefully, the information that we give you in the next 10 or 15 minutes will answer a bunch of those questions. And now I'm going to bring up the first slide. And what I want to visit with you about right off the bat is that if you or your family were impacted by the storm, like Luke said, we're here to provide you today with a guide to making an insurance claim for your damage from Hurricane Ida. What's the first thing they need to know, Luke?
So the first thing you have to do is you have to document your loss. You've got to go ahead and photograph all the damage to your home and make sure that you document everything that you can see. There may be other unseen damage, but you need to document everything you can see both to your home and to the contents. And we recommend that you do this by organizing it by room and by exterior. So if you've got damage in your living room, take all the photographs of the damage in that area and the contents of that area and put it in your smartphone or your Android and keep it essentially organized by room.
We are hard workers in Louisiana. We don't rest on our laurels, and we're not sitting around waiting for somebody to come clean up our mess. So my guess is some portion of this cleanup you have already started if you haven't already made a good headway into completing. But hopefully you took those photographs. Hopefully you're able to document everything before you started your cleanup process, assuming that you could do that safely. If you can't climb up on your roof safely, don't go do that. But anything that you can do safely and document safely, we would ask that, or there would be best practices if you did that.
The next step is to notify your insurer of the claim, and hopefully they get back to you in a reasonable amount of time. But once you have notified your insurer of the claim itself, certain deadlines regarding loss adjustment are triggered.
That's correct. So my guess is all of you watching this video have already called your insurance company. I would be surprised if anybody watching this is not. However, my guess would also be that a lot of you are still waiting on insurance adjusters to come. And that's because they're backlogged. There's hundreds of thousands of claims that are being made, and they're going to take a while to get to you. However, insurance companies have near infinite resources, and they have to come under Louisiana law and do certain things in certain time periods. Luke, what are those?
Well, your homeowner's insurance and commercial insurer have a duty to treat you fairly. And if they do not, we will hold them accountable. Some of the duties of the insurer include a duty of good faith and fair dealing to their first party insured, which if you're a homeowner or a commercial entity, your actual insurer, you are their first party insured. After properly documenting and submitting your damages to your insurer, it starts a clock that requires them to pay your damages.
If your insurer fails to meet these deadlines, there's some things that are going to help you. They have to pay some damages and they have to pay some penalties, including attorney's fees. So the onus is on them, if you will, to do the right thing as quickly as possible. However, it doesn't always happen that way.
So insurers have some specific duties. They're required to timely initiate a loss. And in a normal case, that's within 14 days of notice. However, in the case of catastrophic losses, sometimes it could take as much as 60 days for them to initiate loss. And that seems like an unbelievable amount of time when you don't have your home over your head, your roof over your head, and all of your possessions, properly in their place. But that is the law, and we're going to try to hold them accountable. They must also make payments of undisputed amounts as soon as they're determined or within 30 days of receipt of satisfactory proof of loss. Our job is to help you recover the disputed amounts, which are above and beyond the undisputed portion that your insurer has paid.
There's no doubt the insurance company is going to pay you a check. They're going to come in and they're going to assess your damages and they're going to write you a check. However, my guess is it's not going to be enough to repair your property or replace your contents. And that's where we come in.
This is getting into the weeds, but we want you to understand what insurers are required to do. They have a duty to provide you with policy information and not mislead you about the coverages available to you. They have a duty of promptly initiating loss adjustment, and they must initiate that loss adjustment once they receive notice. They have a duty of good faith in their investigation and not to shortchange you on your loss. They have a duty to make prompt payments, and they must pay those amounts in a timely manner. And if they don't, then we can hold them accountable. That duty of good faith and fair dealing is what you've paid for with those premiums over all these years. You've paid them so that when this bad a result happens, they are required to take care of their responsibility to you.
Luke, you use a term called satisfactory proof of loss. Tell everybody what that means.
All right, satisfactory proof of loss is a pretty difficult concept, but basically you have to provide the insurance company with the information they need to evaluate your loss. And what that means is you have to give them access to your property to do an estimate. You have to give them photographs. You have to give them a list of contents that were damaged and preferably photographs of those contents. And once they've received that information, they have a responsibility to then provide you with the payments. And we must understand that is after the payment of your deductible, but it may not be enough to recover and rebuild. And so our job is to help you recover and rebuild by getting the additional disputed amount.
So if they don't pay timely, what happens?
All right, if they don't pay in a timely manner, they can be held accountable for 50% penalties on the total amount of the damages, plus potentially attorney's fees in an equal amount.
We got into the weeds with you right there. There's no doubt about it. But as attorneys, that's kind of where we spend our life, is in the weeds. All of you, presumably, that are watching this have homeowners policies or business policies on your property. And almost all of them are set up the same way. There's 4 different coverages: A, B, C, and D. And we're going to go through that just real quick. And we'll start with A. Luke, you want to talk about coverage A?
Sure. So coverage A is the coverage on your main dwelling, the main structure of your home and business. It covers repairs to the home caused by the hurricane. The insurance company will send out an adjuster to evaluate the cost of the repairs to your home or business. And often the amount they offer you is inadequate to repair the damages you sustained, particularly in a time period where the costs of materials have increased due to both scarcity and because of COVID. You may need a lawyer to help you recover the amount that you need to rebuild after this loss.
So what are the people that are watching? What are their obligations under coverage A?
Well, under coverage A, you have to make sure that you mitigate your loss. If your roof has been damaged, you can't leave it uncovered while you wait for the insurance company to come out and evaluate your home. You've got to go ahead and patch up your home as best you can and keep all the receipts related the same, because additional damage that you fail to mitigate, the insurance company may not be responsible for. So once you've documented your loss and taken the photographs, then you've got to go mitigate your loss and protect your home.
All right. The next type of coverage is coverage B. Coverage B is similar to coverage A, but it's not coverage for your main dwelling. It's coverage for ancillary buildings on your property. This is your barn. This is your covered shed. This is your detached garage. If you're down all the way on the coast, this is maybe your boat shed. The same types of things that you have to do to mitigate your damages under coverage A to your main dwelling, you need to do to coverage B. However, my guess is most of the interior damage on your coverage B buildings is not going to be significant as coverage A because they're typically not as finished out. So after coverage B, that brings us to coverage C. Luke, tell us a little bit about coverage C.
Coverage C is the coverage for the contents of your home, and that can be anything from your appliances and your furniture to your clothing, jewelry, anything else that is damaged as a result of the storm. At the end of this presentation, we'll provide you with a contents list that you can use to detail the contents of your home. Of course, it's best if you have receipts to document the value of the items that you've lost, but they might have been damaged in the storm as well. So documenting with photographs and with a contents list is the best way for you to guarantee that your insurance company reimburses you for the loss of the things that you've accumulated over the course of your lifetime.
And that brings us to D, which is the final of the 4 coverages that we're going to talk about here. And that is for additional living expense. It's also referred to as ALE. And ALE provides coverage for rent, meals, other reasonable costs associated with you being displaced from your home. What does that mean? I know a lot of you went to Orange Beach. A lot of you went to Shreveport. A lot of you went to Houston. Your expenses for doing that are what's covered under ALE. Keep all those receipts. Keep everything you need to document that, and we will be able to make a claim for you under your ALE coverage. Lastly, while we're still talking about policies, let's talk about deductibles. Luke?
All right, so the deductible is the amount of credit the insurance company gets against your expenses to rebuild and repair your home. When there is a named storm, there is a specific coverage that kicks in that requires you to pay a larger percentage of a deductible. Some people have been calling us and telling us that they have $10,000 deductibles against their repairs. And if they had $15,000 worth of repairs, that means that 2/3 of it is going from the deductible. There's nothing we can do about the amount of the deductible that you have in your insurance policy. What we can do is make sure that they're paying you the proper amount before they remove the amount of your deductible.
There are 2 different kinds of deductibles. One is typically an RCB deductible. One is an ACB deductible, and it has to do with your actual cash value and also with some depreciation. If you get into that, you're concerned about it, give us a call. We'll be happy to answer any questions you have about that, but we're not going to get too far off in the weeds with that. There is a process to this, and the process is fairly simple. As Luke told you earlier, the initial step is notify your insurer of the loss. The next thing, the insurer is going to start the loss adjustment process. What does that mean? That means they're going to send somebody out to your house. They're going to look at it. They're going to do their own estimates, and they're going to get back to you with an amount that they believe is undisputed. You can help yourself get that number higher by documenting everything with photos and documentation. Disputes are disputes, and when we have a dispute in the insurance business, I want you to keep everything. Your emails, your texts, your letters that you either sent to the insurance company or received from the insurance company, those things that are you would call emails, texts, and letters in an insurance dispute context constitutes evidence, and I need you to keep all that so we can help you with your hurricane claim. Lastly, and this is probably the most important thing if you take anything away from this, is that if this insurer, whoever you have, if they don't pay you 100% of what you need to rebuild and 100% of what you need to replace your contents, call us. That's what we're here for. That's what we're here to help you with. How do we do that?
All right, so what we do, first you need to know is we do not take a fee on the first check received by any homeowner or business. That's the undisputed portion, and that we don't deserve a fee on that.
There's a lot of law firms that aren't going to be able to say that. There's a lot of law firms out there that are taking these hurricane claims, and they're going to want a percentage of the first check you get. We just don't agree with that. We don't do it.
We only take a fee on any supplemental payments made after the first check that we were able to secure for you. How do we do it? We determine the value of the loss with our experts. We prepare and file a supplemental claim. We get quotes for repairs as necessary, and evaluate settlement offers, and we negotiate a higher settlement for you.
And most importantly, if we are engaged and you call us and you say, I have not been paid 100% to fix my house, and I have not received 100% of my contents damages, we'll file suit for you. And that's what we're here to do. And that's what we want to do. And I want to thank you all for taking some time to watch this. And if you have questions, give us a ring. Telephone number is 225-500-5000, and select the option for hurricane claims. And we'll be happy to talk to you. And we look forward to helping you get back on your feet. We look forward to helping you rebuild. And we look forward to making a stronger Louisiana. Thanks.
Good luck and Godspeed.
Bye.